As the amount of creators rises, so does the availability of affordable tools. There are plenty of well-established standards for high-fidelity USB microphones like the blue Yeti lineup, but if you want something a bit different or are on a budget, there are some other options like this, the Movo UM700. With a Yeti-like design and a simple but robust feature set, the Movo UM700 is a great choice for streaming or podcasting or other content creation. And coming in at $100, it is more affordable than a lot of the blue Yeti microphone lineup. So let's check it out. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Toys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and enable notifications with the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Hey everyone, Jordan here with 9 to 5 Toys, and today we have the Movo UM700. And a little bit later in the video, we'll be putting up against some competition, kind of some of the higher end stuff, looking at the blue Yeti X and the HyperX QuadCast S, so be sure to check those out if you want to hear how it sounds against some of the competition. So first off, let's take a look at getting this thing out of the package. Let's see everything that it comes with. With very simple packaging, in addition to the microphone, we find a simple pop filter, a USB-A to micro USB cable, and an instruction guide. The base comes installed on the microphone, but can easily be removed with the 2 thumb screws on either side of the stand. Taking a look at the design, on the front of the microphone we have a large mute button as well as the headphone volume dial. And on the back is a gain dial and the 4-way polar pattern selector. And on bottom, the microphone has 3.5mm and micro USB ports, as well as a 5/8 thread for mounting the microphone on stands like this cheap Amazon one that I use. So much like the wildly popular blue microphone lineup, the Movo UM700 has a pretty large and cylindrical design to it. And this works great for the 4 different selectable polar patterns that you can choose from with this. So it makes it really easy to set it in the middle, stand it straight up, and either, have one person talking in front of it, have people all around, or having a conversation between 2 people on either side of the microphone. And with a mostly blacked out design, it is more discreet than the blue Yeti X and some of the other blue Yeti lineups, and definitely more discreet than the HyperX QuadCast lineup with that brightly glowing pop filter. With a sturdy metal base, a metal body, and the metal grille on top, the Movo UM700 has some decent weight to it, and it feels like it's built with a really robust build quality. And like we briefly mentioned, one of the great features of this are those 4 selectable polar patterns. So that makes it great for a lot of different types of content, whether you are a single person doing a voiceover like this, or if you are recording, a musical performance or something, you want to have the microphone in the middle and instruments around, or if you want to have a conversation with one other person, you can just set this microphone in the middle and, set the other person on the other side and set it to bi-directional, and then you can pick up voices from both sides of the microphone. For me, I have it set to cardioid, so it is just picking up, mostly in front. It is going to pick up some little bit of stuff around the room as well. So, it's not just completely one directional, but here we can do a quick little snap test. You can hear how that's coming through. And as we move back behind the microphone, you can hear how that sounds a little bit different. So this is better for content when you are just, a single person talking to the microphone. Obviously, having that cardioid setup is going to be great. And it has a very satisfying, with quite a bit of resistance, dial back here to change the polar pattern. So it's not something that you're going to easily bump and, have set in the wrong setting. Likewise, it's great to have the adjustable gain directly on the microphone here. I am recording onto my MacBook Pro going through Adobe Audition. I'm not going to be putting any effects on it or anything, but it's great when I was setting this up, I could just dial in the gain with this really easily to make sure that I'm not clipping, but to make sure that a good signal is coming through. So having a physical gain dial on a microphone is really useful. And with a triple capsule array, the Movo UM700 picks up audio at 48 kHz and 16-bit, which is a really great high-fidelity audio signal, and can also pick up frequencies from 20 all the way to 20,000 Hz. So that gives it a huge, broad frequency response for picking up all of the audio, whether you are performing with an instrument or your voice or, just trying to capture something in a room. That gives a lot of room in there to pick up, the full range of frequencies. I think it has a pretty neutral sound to it. The low end isn't boosted too much. It doesn't sound muffled, but it also doesn't sound too harsh on the end directly out of the microphone. To me, it sounds pretty great right out of the box. And here we'll do a few comparisons with some different microphones so you can get an idea of what those sound like compared to the Movo UM700. And so here I've got a couple different microphones lined up that we're going to test it against. We have the blue Yeti X, and then we also have the HyperX QuadCast S. So these are two really popular microphones that I've used quite a bit through different videos. And so we'll do a sound comparison between the Movo UM700 and these two other similar microphones here. And I'm just going to be reading an excerpt from a recent 9to5Mac article, and I'll try to have the microphone about the same distance from my mouth for each of these so you can get a good idea for what it sounds like. Over the last week, we've gained a very clear picture of what to expect from the 2021 MacBook Pro update. A slight redesign, more I/O ports, the end of the touch bar, and the return of MagSafe. Essentially, Apple is undoing the changes it introduced with the 2016 MacBook Pro, an update that proved to be controversial for multiple reasons. Alright, so now we'll swap over to the blue Yeti X. Alright, so now we are recording on the blue Yeti X. One thing to keep in mind here with the Yeti X, they also have the Blue Voice software, which gives a ton of kind of built-in customization to the audio of the microphone. So a lot more that you can do before you start recording rather than adjusting it in post with the blue Yeti X. But I'm not using that software. This is just completely out of the box, what to expect from the blue Yeti X. And here we'll read that same excerpt. Over the last week, we've gained a very clear picture of what to expect from the 2021 MacBook Pro update. A slight redesign, more I/O ports, the end of the touch bar, and the return of MagSafe. Essentially, Apple is undoing the changes it introduced with the 2016 MacBook Pro, an update that proved to be controversial for multiple reasons. Alright, and lastly, we're on to the HyperX QuadCast S, which as you can see has the adjusting RGB lights in here. So we'll have links to the reviews of both the Yeti X and the HyperX QuadCast S down in the description if you want to check those out individually. Over the last week, we've gained a very clear picture of what to expect from the 2021 MacBook Pro update. A slight redesign, more I/O ports, the end of the touch bar, and the return of MagSafe. Essentially, Apple is undoing the changes it introduced with the 2016 MacBook Pro, an update that proved to be controversial for multiple reasons. Alright, well hopefully that gave you a good idea of what some of the competition sounds like. The thing to keep in mind here is that the Movo UM700 comes in at $100, while the blue Yeti X is $170, and the HyperX QuadCast S is $160. So both of those are quite a bit more expensive, but I wanted to give you a look at what it sounded like compared to some of these higher end options, because I do think that the Movo UM700 is a great choice if you are on a budget, if you don't have as much money to spend on your microphone. I do think this is going to be a great sounding microphone for you at a more affordable price. But like we said, both of those have their own special features, like the software with the Yeti X and all the lights and everything with the QuadCast S, and we will have reviews of those linked down below so you can check those out. So overall, wrapping up here with its high fidelity sound, physical controls on the body, and robust build quality, the Movo UM700 looks, feels, and sounds great. I do think that it can benefit from a few EQ tweaks, but to be honest, I put EQ tweaks on almost all of my audio in most of my videos anyways. Of course, with these microphone reviews, everything is just running straight through Audition, and then I import that file into Premiere, and I don't do any tweaking on the EQ or anything. I'll probably adjust the levels in there just to get them more even, but as far as like EQ and sound quality coming through, that is going to be straight out of the microphone. So at $100, I really do think that the Movo UM700 is a great choice for content creators, podcasters, streamers, anything where you need a simple but robust and high fidelity audio source to plug into your computer with USB. And that'll do it for our review of the Movo UM700. Let us know what you think about it down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. This is Jordan with 9to5 Tools.